I've been trying to get hold of next week.
That's what I was telling Casey. I'm going to show you. Because I was showing him how I pick a safe spot I'll stand race to see how it's ready. Because you don't want to spend a lot of time on the spot. You can see how bad it is.
I ain't had a chance yet, but I'm going to. I haven't tried. That's what the thing maybe I want to meet her.
But I think it was just the temperature.
Thank you.
And then
What you feel?
There's
Something to play with my knee.
All
right. I sent you a response, so you saw it.
When it's all those.
No, but I'll be one.
Let's see. Ms. Beverland, would you like to lead us in the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 15 people in Merrill County Board of Education is called to order, and everyone is risked their lives to be present. And we will have number 4, please, approval of the agenda.
I recommend approval of the agenda. I would ask that we remove the discussion items for finance and budget A, B, and C. One let me know today she was waiting on some coding corrections from, because they're unique to something, and she asked that we remove that, and she said she'd have it ready for that.
All right, you have the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion? All in favor? Please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and that takes us to communications. Superintendent's update.
Just a few things. It seems like we haven't had a ton of school in the last few meetings. I'm hoping that's short-lived and we can get over this hump pretty soon. Tomorrow will mark our second non-traditional school day. Certainly not the way we prefer to do it, but it kind of lends itself to the way that our calendar functions. And in line with our academic update, I was talking to Ms. Beverland today, asked me about asking me to be a soothsayer as far as when we could get our benchmarks moved to, so we could have our benchmark assessments, because we're at that time of the year. And after I left her office, it had me thinking about, most of our snow days or cancellations are always this time of year, right? They're January, February, historically. And it reminded me of, I've been doing school calendar since 2010, and the rules keep changing and all those things have merged, but I'll never forget how excited we were when it used to be, I'm sure you all remember back when the semester would change like January 16th, right? Because it had to be 90 and 90 with no exception. And when they finally let us make it so it didn't have to be 90 and 90, you look at this like this year, don't quote me on the numbers, but it's like 83 and, it's not an even split. But you look at when we're out of here, when we're interrupted, when we're having delays, it works itself out to where you have almost as many regular school days in the second semester as you do in the first. So certainly in my tenure, other than the first 2 years, which I'd rather forget, this has been our worst winter as far as that goes. So hopefully things get better soon, but it obviously has an impact on our operations. And I was going to ask Jackie, we talked about a few things today. I was going to have her do a couple of updates for us.
Yes. Speaking of benchmarks, our grades 3 through 8 completed their benchmark prior to Christmas, because we try and get their benchmarks done before we hit into state testing windows. And I am seeing some bright spots in those. In terms of CIS, we've received 2 grants recently. One was for $3,500 from the WindForce grant, And from that, we were able to buy washers and dryers, and we replaced units at Kaiser Middle, Kaiser High, and 1 unit at Kaiser Primary. We didn't get quite what we asked for, but we got more than other applicants have requested. So we're feeling pretty strong about that, and all have been delivered and installed. So not only can we help students within the building when they have clothing issues, especially our older students, that can give them some autonomy to start learning how to take care of their own stuff, especially when they have housing situations that don't enable that. So.
And our 4th CIS school is the new school.
And so it already has brand
washers
new
and dryers.
machines.
Yeah.
So, like Kaiser High School, these were original to the building opening. Kaiser Middle, we actually have them sitting side by side now instead of one in the middle of the building, one at the end of the building. So we've come a long way. And then Windforce allowed me to use the little bit of money that was left over to buy laundry supplies. So we're in good shape there. And then we also received a $500 United Way community grant, and that's at Frankfurt Elementary School, and that's to help buy footwear for students. So little pieces all add up. So.
Yeah, and if you're ever in any of our communities and schools facilities, make sure you just ask to see the, what do they call it?
Our
The
care closet.
The care closet.
The hygiene, the food, the school supplies, I mean, anything basic needs for those students, we have it on hand. And because of the generous donations within our community so far and some of the grants that we've been able to receive, we're in good position for that, so.
Which makes a huge difference when kids come to school and they need a backpack or they need a coat. It's great to have them.
Mm-hmm. So, the news that I have on Goldie though today, we had, like whenever you have a baby has problems.
Goldie's our dog.
Goldie has been sick recently. She has a sensitive stomach. And so, her handler is very careful about what she eats and all that. But, she has been throwing up blood and everything. So, as you know, kids don't follow calendars of when offices are open and all that. And neither will a dog. So she's had some emergency vet care, and it turned out, that she needed emergency surgery today. They thought she had ingested something and it was like causing, the discomfort in her stomach and the, vomiting of blood. It actually found out that she has an enlarged lymph node and an ulcer in her stomach, which they believe to make her eat several things out of the ordinary, and that's why she had the foreign objects in her stomach. So the good news is it was less invasive than we anticipated. So, and she doesn't require any overnight stays. So the cost has gone down, but if you see anything for the Goldie Care Fund, that's what that's about. It's legit. We need to make sure we have monies in reserve for these kind of contingencies.
Well, and keep in mind too, with that, when the First Lady brought the dog, one of the things that they want us to do is they want it to be based on partnerships and community support. They don't just want, they want third parties, and they want everybody involved for the communities and schools aspect of that. So it's not just as simple as just pay the bill.
Yeah.
You know, they want us to work with our community partners and everything else. And in this case, our community partner was not.
She's on maternity leave. So we had to get emergency care elsewhere. So that's what made the costs a little more than anticipated. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. All right, we will give the board comments. Mrs. Kroger? I don't know anything. Dr. Denny?
I wasn't going to say anything, but Jackie reminded me, Stacy Huffman is the community and schools person over here. She does wonderful work.
She has hit the ground running and is doing phenomenal.
Yes, and I appreciate having the opportunity to interact with her.
Mhm.
That's all.
I'll bring up no thanks to my wife. My wife won't tell me nothing anymore, but I heard through the grapevine that we're going to be without a cook again. As a taxpayer, people have no burden to pay their taxes too, just the same as everybody else. Them kids deserve a hot lunch just the same, hot breakfast and hot lunch just the same as everybody. We're gonna satellite up, they're not gonna get a hot breakfast. As a husband, my wife comes home every day, tuckered out because she's trying to teach, trying to be a principal, trying to cook, everything, and that's uncalled for. And I know we have a hard time getting a cook up there, but one cook up there is, this lady is gonna retire at the end of the year. We won't get nobody else because it's too much for one person. As I said, we got people in this office that can make phone calls to find out who's working and who's not. Well, then maybe we got too many people sitting in this office. So therefore, we need to find a way to get a cook and a half up there because it's uncalled for that as a taxpayer, they don't get the same as every other county or the other school. And I'm, like I said, my wife won't even tell me anymore because she knows I'm working down here until fit. So she won't tell me nothing about it. I found through the grapevine that Margaret is off for a few days. Margaret has a bunch of days left that she's going to use the rest of the year, and then she's retiring at the end of the year. I've already talked to her and her husband wants to spend time together. He's 10 years older than her, and she says she don't have much time, how much time she has with him, so she's going to return to her life with him. So we got to find a way to get that up there. We got to look at budget times coming up. That's why I'm bringing it up, that we got to find a way to get that back. I don't care how many kids we got up there. We got to provide the same for them as we do everything. And again, my wife and I is really, she's not talking to me right now because I'm mad at her because she won't tell me this stuff. So I just want you to know that I have to find out the grapevine. Okay? All right, that's all.
All right, I don't have anything tonight. We don't have anyone signed up for
We
public
do.
Oh, we do.
We just have, it's here to talk about anti-drug program.
Hi, my name is Amy Cardo, and I am with the On-Track Anti-Drug Coalition. And I'd like to thank the board and the sheriff's collaborative efforts that we do and partner to help the students thrive. And so in the prevention world, we picture the students on a river and walking along the river. And then we have the bridge, and we have the stream, and we have the waterfall. And you guys know who the students are that are paddling hard, the ones that are in the currents and the ones that are really close to the fall, and the ones who even throw life jackets. So the goal of On Track Anti-Drug Coalition is to prevent that undertow and to strengthen the masonry and the bridges and to teach swimming abilities. And so On Track is a proud recipient of the Mineral County First Opioid Crisis Response Money. And we utilize grants on our ongoing mission to define the local conditions of the community, to identify root causes and risk and protective factors, to plan and implement comprehensive strategies for community change. And the last one is to prevent the onset of first substance use to reduce misuse rates, substance abuse rates. Sorry. So just as a substance comes in doses, to stop it before it starts, the prevention also has to come in doses. And so the packets there in front of you are provided. There are already shared accomplishments that we have, and we like to continue these opportunities. So in the last year, Mineral County Schools and On Track, we've partnered to be able to enhance skills through workshops, seminars, or activities. For example, the Hidden in Plain Sight exhibit was brought, and that's a parent-guardian interactive display that mocks a teenage bedroom to teach about current trends of where youth hide substances. The second one is to provide information, and we give educational presentations. The Red Ribbon Week packages as an example, and that's to celebrate drug-free community. And all the elementary school students in Mineral County received the Be Drug Free swag that was sponsored by ONTAC this year. We also provide support, and that's creating opportunities to support people in activities of the Catch My Breath presentations in conjunction with the Game Changers, and that offers knowledge to make informed decisions about vaping. Another one is that we enhance and reduce barriers. We enhance access and reduce barriers, excuse me. So improving systems to increase opportunities for services, and that utilizes the strategic prevention framework to promote well-being. So one of the things that we do is sign our checks in the community to make sure that vendors aren't selling to people who are 21 and under. Another one is to change physical designs. And that means that we do messaging that enhances protections. So the coalition meets, and we sponsor this year a Dispose of Medications Wisely. And actually the digital billboard at the foot of Potomac State, hopefully you've seen that billboard. That was something that we sponsored to be able to promote limiting access to kids and being able to use the return boxes, and contact us for Safe RX or the Tira distribution. So another one is to modify and change policies. And so the formal change in rules and laws to make those informed decisions about policies. And as educators, you know you have to have the data. And so our students have a wealth of knowledge in the school climate looks like. So why not just go ahead and ask them? Contract Anti-Drug Coalition has actually made an $18,071 commitment to the 5 counties that we serve, including Mineral, to utilize these surveys to gain knowledge about the risk and protective factors. So the specific investment is through a Parent Resource Institute of Drug Education survey. It's also known as the PRIDE survey. They are looking to change their name. This is as an added note because to the ISA surveys, because they were named in the 70s, and as you know, the PRIDE is kind of related to LGBTQ communities now, and it has nothing to do with that. So they're in a name change right now. But the really, really good news about the survey is that it is anonymous. So only the grade level aggregate data will be saved and presented back to the school board. And after the survey is administered, you will receive school level reports on a larger aggregate county level that has a summary of that collected data. And then you, the board, gets to decide if it is not public record. Those surveys do not go out into the public. You get to review them and see what changes and what things are coming back. So it's anonymous not only for the students to take, but then it's also anonymous in a way that you guys can look at it and then assess it yourself and see where the concerns are. So as an example of what is happening in the trenches, a report from Josh Grant and the West Virginia State Board of Education in 2023-24 WEBIS for the behavior of possession of substances contained tobacco and nicotine. There was 5,526 incidences, with only 206 being referred to tobacco cessation programs. And he furthermore said, we are not going to suspend our way out of the problem. So you are in the trenches with the students, see these things firsthand and know the stories, and yet some of those stories are also unknown. So the survey will hopefully give a clear picture to choose to, but it also can show the flip side of those things. And it can say, this is the number of students that don't use substances, and that we can utilize that survey to be able to show that. So the recommendation is to utilize that survey in May from the 6th to 12th grades, where the students have downtime before summer break. And the data we'll receive will help them make informed decisions and game plans to enhance the well-being of the students. And the coalition has been in dialogue with Putnam and Morgan counties, and they've had meaningful and productive success with prevention strategies as a result of doing this survey and gaining that data. So again, I stress the survey is anonymous for students, and only the school is going to receive the information, and then you can do with it what you choose. And so I thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. And my card is in the packet, and you can always call and ask me any questions. So I appreciate your time again. I'm going to slide out because it's a little icy out there.
No pun intended.
This is, I mean, typically we don't ask questions. I let to ask a question, given that this is interacting with us. Yeah, yeah. So you're working through the Eastern Regional FRA.
Correct.
And then you will have a contact person here, and that may be Jackie, for example, and then everything will go from there. Is that fair?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know the vehicle, how, if
Right.
we should anticipate you contacting each individual school, but if you're working through Jackie, I'm clear now.
Well, that kind of fits with communities and schools, game changer, DARE, all the different things that we
Good.
do.
Ms. Cargo and I have been working together for the past several years, so
That's
it's
great.
an obvious extension.
Well, and one of the things that you said reminded me of some changes that we've made with regard to discipline in the past few years, that cessation is way more impactful than suspension. You know, so if we can find a way to have students not use or abuse instead of just kicking them out of school, it can be much more impactful. So it vibes with our direction as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Safe
Thank
travels.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna go to approval of the minutes, please.
I recommend approval of the minutes from the regular meeting, January 7th.
The superintendent's recommendation.
So moved, I'm jumping down.
All right. Any discussion? Not hearing any discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and we are moving to action. Agenda personnel, C1, please.
I recommend approval of an employment agreement with Robin McDowell to be the interim acting principal, Fountain Primary School, from February 3rd, 2025, to the end of the school year.
Okay, you heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Any discussion?
If you recall, when we filled the position of Fountain, the timing didn't lend itself to being great for kids in the long run. So fortunately for us, we're able to have some retired principals that we can utilize to bridge that gap and get us to where it makes sense to change over our positions. So
I think it's great, particularly given what the scenario you had described previously, where we end up typically in situations like this, some class doesn't have their teacher anymore for the second half.
well, if you keep in mind that this is unrelated to the fact that Ms. McDowell retired a few months ago. The reason we didn't post that is because it always ends with, almost always, robbing a teacher from the classroom, and that's never preferred. So now there's times when you have to, but we've been, fortunate in these two instances to find a way around it.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0. 2A, please.
I recommend approval for Mineral County Days staff and student attendance. I believe there's an attachment here.
I was thinking there was.
Yes, there is.
Is there? Okay, good.
Yeah, there's an So I'll wait till we get to discussion. So
Okay. You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
as far as discussion goes, and Donnie, feel free to chime in. Generally speaking, what we're doing for Mineral County Days, we have some administrators who go, which is somewhat normal. We might have a few more this year. But we also have Teal Steel is going down, our Frankfurt Middle School steel drum band. And then we have some students from our culinary class coming one day to help with the lunch. So we're trying to involve our kids from the tech center, trying to involve our kids as much as we can. And so I'll let Donnie speak to it because he's going to spearhead it.
I mean, it's a great honor, right? We used to take our Teal Steel band down. We took the kids from Kaiser Middle School one year that,
Do you remember they did a lemonade stand?
lemonade.
Yeah.
Kids down there and did lemonade down there. I think it's an honor to have our kids down there to be recognized by our legislature. I think we're gonna try to get them into both days, Wednesday and Thursday. We're gonna try to get them into Page, as many of them as we can. Rick has been instrumental in trying to get some kids down there to Page. So it's something to get our kids recognized. I think it's great. I think it's great that we get our kids down there. It's one thing that we do this Mineral County Days to honor our county every year down there, but it's also great if we can take our kids down there and get them to see some things. And I did want to make a comment. I got with Kevin. Kevin sent his letter out. I don't know where he called you. Kevin sent going down Tuesday, coming back Wednesday. Well, they're actually going down Wednesday morning early. And they're coming back Thursday. So in his letter, he sent you, and I told Kevin I would just correct that, is they're leaving Wednesday morning. That's just the kids from Teal Steel.
Just the Teal Steel.
Yeah, they're going down, they're gonna stay Wednesday night, so that's the motel we're in for Wednesday night. Wednesday night, when we're down there, though, they always do the governor's address on the TV there in the embassy, which everybody's staying at the embassy, which we all like the embassy, so they're all staying at the embassy. The embassy will put it up on the TV screen. They can watch the governor's address down there and everything, so that's something they get to experience while they're down there too. I don't know, I was gonna ask you is, I know they used to get tickets to go to that. I didn't know whether they could do that again, or maybe we'll get a few of them there.
I'll look into that.
I didn't know where we could get a couple of tickets. Maybe we can take a couple of kids down there. I mean, that would be something for some kids to see that. I don't know where you probably seen that out of the government, and to give the government address. So that might be something, if we can get some of our legislators to get some of their tickets to take a couple of kids in and see that, that may be something also that they can get to see the governor get his address there live. So that can be something too we can talk about.
And I'll be honest, from my standpoint, my first year, our first spring was 2020. So I've never been a part of what I would consider a normal Mineral County Day, but it's funny when you said that, I remember seeing things in the newspaper about the lemonade stand they had down there and the different things. So a little bit of this is getting back to what we used to do, for Mineral County Days at the Capitol. I also thought that everybody had a day, and that's not true, right?
No.
How many days have a county day?
I think there's only 2 or 3.
So it's pretty special. Like
Mineral County started, but I will say that, I think Mineral County started this 20-some years ago, it's probably been 23, 24 years.
That's
You know,
nice.
something like that, it's been about 20-some years, I've been involved in it probably about 17 years. So it's been a big thing, and it's good, we get down and we meet with all different kind of departments, which Rick and I was talking about meeting. I had you meet with, we met with the House Education Chair, we met with the Senate Education Chair, we met with the Department of Education, we met with DHHR, we meet with
Tourism.
we meet transportation, we meet with all the departments down there. And that's part of it, to get down there and say, hey, this is what we feel Mineral County needs. We get down there, I think the 2 things we're going down this year for is, they keep talking about the, North South corridor, which, as I told them, quarter H was started back in 63, if you don't know, it was 63 it started, and you see where we are quarter H. So they're pushing this corridor, North South corridor, which has just started here back in the early 2000s, I think, thanks for.
I remember they were talking about it at the Cumberland, I forget the name of the group that I'm a part of, they would talk about it in Cumberland a lot, and it just it reminded me so much of quarter H. And then my grandfather had an old rusty 70s pickup with the quarter H finish it.
It's 63,
That was older than me.
64. But also, the other thing they're going down for is Kevin Shoup, and I think Dr. Collins is going down. They're bringing up about the middle schools to see if we can get the legislature to give us $50,000 to run after-school programs for our middle schools. It's a long shot, but it's, it's worth going down and trying to talk to them, see if we can get it. So that's what we're going down to talk to them about. Those are the 2 things that the Mineral County Days is going down to talk to them about. Actually, we bring up some other things down, but that's just the main things, the 2 main things. We used to go down and everybody just throw out, I want this, I want that. And it got to where we kind of try to organize it now and saying, hey, we need to get down with just 2 or 3 things and say, this is what we need to request.
And Eileen and Luke and them, and the commission, they do a great job
Yes.
getting us centered on
Luke
specifics.
has done it this year, so I don't know who's going to have it up. I told him I'm getting where I'm about done too. It's been 17 years, so I'm getting to the point I'm about ready. If it wouldn't be for the issues that the DHHR, CPS and stuff that I've been working on, I probably wouldn't be on this year. But I've got to call in to try to get the governor to see if he can meet with us before legislation session, meet with the hospitals, ambulance authority. I'm going to involve you and come here too, that if the governor and our legislature can have a meeting, I'm trying to get him to Zoom. So that's something I'm working on right now to try to say, hey, this is our issue going down there. It's a lot of things. I won't get into my issues right now. DHHR, there's a lot of issues there right now. And like I told some people the other day, we talk about we are #1 state per capita with opioid overdoses, and we're putting in the paper that, hey, them numbers have dropped. It looks good, but what you don't understand is we're giving free Narcan out there, so that's why they're not overdosing now. We're still doing the drugs are still there, but we're giving free Narcan out, so therefore.
All the babies are still in our schools.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, we're dealing with them. And I seen a child up at Oak Garden here right before Christmas, and it upset me, and I basically got my wife and said, she needs to come down here. She said, you gotta stop and understand. This child was taken from a family that was a drug addicted family. This child's a drug baby. She's trying to go in kindergarten and she was going off, and I'm, first time I've seen this. So it's upsetting to me, the things that I'm finding out, so then some things I want to talk about, I'll get off of it, but anyhow, that's things we'll talk about when we're done. All right. And do we need to pay for any of the staff going down? I meant to ask you that. Was that
We'll
on?
cover all that.
Okay, I didn't.
That's why we put it on here, because Rhonda had actually requested that we put it on here to make sure that we cover it, because it's, I don't want to say it's not ordinary, but it doesn't fit under other categories like PD or.
Yeah, I didn't know how many staff. I know there was a bunch that was talking about it, and
I don't think it's an unbelievable number. You know, we invited everybody, but it's like the other things that we do. I tell them we can't have everybody out the same day.
Yeah.
You know, we still gotta run a system that day, or those days, so,
Yeah, I know you talked about.
there's a few, there's four filers.
Yeah, I know Kelly.
But it also, with Mr. Shoup and with Ms. Lawson, they're also there as chaperones. So someone would be coming anyway,
Yeah.
with those kids, so.
Yeah, I just didn't really need to. All right, thank you.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and that takes us to the consent agenda.
I recommend approval of the consent agenda.
With the superintendent's recommendation, is there a motion?
So
Second. Any discussion?
grateful to see the names of the people willing to put in the extensive amount of time required for assistant directors.
Is that with camp?
Yeah, outdoor.
Not only that, they do an excellent job.
That too.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? That passes 5-0, and that takes us to the date and time of the next meeting, which is February 4th at 5 p.m. in the boardroom, and the meeting is adjourned.